there is a selectiveness of the informations, even from the people who are collecting the feedback, not from the responder only, because how you are going to take into consideration the negative feedback is really important. Because if you are not going to take the negative feedback, or maybe not more soothing to your conscience, so then maybe you are discarding that information and you are taking only the positive one. Then maybe rating and feedback is like very good numbers to show. So how to take into account this negative one? Sometimes maybe negative is genuine. Sometimes it is just like the anger of a student against the professor.
When we started doing the customer satisfaction survey, the feedback mechanism, we have scored about 62%, which is pretty low, And in my experience, what I have seen is generally we take the feedback, but we don't communicate to the organization, this is our result. But we have displayed our result to the entire organization right from top to bottom. This is what our results are, and this is our way forward. And every quarter, we started giving an update on what we have committed and what stage we are in today. And today, my satisfaction survey, my score is 98% today. So when the employee gets the, confidence, I give negative feedback. It is anonymous. No action has been taken. So they got the confidence. And we are responding to those negative, feedback as well. So I think that is more important.
I think defining the process to take the human subjectivity and emotion out of a feedback received, I think is very important. Like, for example, if there's a 10-point scale, I think the organization should clearly define what is a bad review. I mean, let's say 0 to 3. And let's say 4 to 7 is neutral and 7 to 10 is great. If that be the case, what is a process for 0 to 3? Every time you get a 0 to 3, what do? Don't leave it to a subjective human decision. You will say that, okay, 0 to 3, I will call back the customer. I will take further feedback. I will do this. Let's say if it is neutral, then I would do this. And I think just taking the human side out, subjectivity out of it and the emotion out of it and just sticking to a process for all kinds of ratings, I think helps.
I have the other side of the coin view, and I'm just trying to, and it's a great point which you shared. If I can just modify that a little bit, subjectivity needs to be curtailed, but can we have a feedback system which is so open, accommodating, which even absorbs and understands and translates emotions? Because let's just go back. I mean, before we talk about all big things about businesses, let's think back the last time we sat on a dining table and had a food and something nice was cooked. Acha laga. And that's a feedback. And I mean, like, do you really put across a 10-point scale there? No. And this is subjective. It has an emotion and does not have word. But that exactly translated what had to be conveyed. Can we think about a mechanism which is so wide, so accommodative, agnostic of the format, agnostic of scales, but translates that to a meaningful action or translates that to a meaningful insights? I think that, and this is a point which just came as an afterthought to what you just shared.
So see, in previous session, I had talked on this, I will repeat it. See, industry is changing. This feedback mechanisms also will go. Feedback is something which when I am asking, now these days people are very open in expressing their views on social media, even if you ask her. So there is a platform being built which is based on artificial intelligence. That platform will do the sensitivity analysis and sentiments analysis. So this sensitivity and sentiments analysis will run across all social media platforms, be it WhatsApp, what you are doing on WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta, wherever. This is being in making. Many industries are making. With that, what will happen? You don't have to go and pinpoint the guy. Yes, you take a feedback also, but this sensitivity analysis and sentiments analysis will give you a lot. Similarly, like, for example, these showrooms, now these are AI cameras. What are they doing? They are checking your expressions, looking at a brand when you are looking at some cloth. If you are feeling wow, they automatically capture and then they give you. On this counter, 7 wows, in this counter, 1 wow, in this counter, 0 wow. So this tech is coming. This technology is coming. It is in making. Yes, there are certain flaws today because it goes by the backends. But I think, consider me, within 2 years, most mechanisms for feedback will be on a sensitivity analysis. So when you are meeting client face to face, I am saying here my 2 cameras will be there that will decide my feedback. When you are talking on mobile, those will also. So those platforms are coming and those platforms are not far. With that, these all worries will go.
Also, there was this example of, so that's one aspect. The other is, you will not, as an organization, as time passes, you don't need to just be dependent on your review or feedback mechanism which you installed through, say, a TripAdvisor, or say through a Google, or whatever, whatever third party. Today, people, if they feel, you just mentioned, will go and post it on, say, LinkedIn or anything. We had a very recent example. One top CEO of some US company coming back to India, traveled by Air India, and he found a cockroach in one corner. That message is known to everybody in the country today. Number one. It was not important that the cockroach he saw, but how Air India responded to that was even more appreciative. And they gave him a free ticket, a free first class ticket for any, with the open travel date and all of that, So it's not just getting feedback from the established procedure of getting a feedback, but how well are you listening to feedback of your customers on a social platform also. So social listening becomes as important as a established mechanism of getting feedback. I mean, in days to come, organizations will have to be very sensitive to this.
So there are instances like this one, people are commenting on somewhere else rather than commenting to the company.
Yeah.
So this is maybe third party feedback we can say, or maybe you are putting on a Facebook about some company, the negative one.
Yeah.
So why these people are doing the negative one on somewhere else? Maybe when you are calculating your feedback, you are not taking into
a lot of times I don't know whom to give feedback to, but I'm not feeling nice or I'm not happy. Why? I don't want to go and search. I just put it on my page.
So one could be this way, other could be maybe if I give them, maybe they can put in a dustbin and they are not going to act on that. So that's really nice to see different platform.
I guess what is also important is one should be very careful with the response to some of these things. I mean, just to take this example, you don't want the general public to go cockroach hunting in an Air India flight, right? Because you get free tickets out of it. I keep telling this example, so we get a lot of social media sometimes. Not so pleasant ones, and sometimes you know it's motivated, some. So one of the,
I don't think a CEO of a top company is motivated to give a feedback.
What I'm
he
trying
probably
to say,
just didn't know where to give the feedback.
no, this is a different point. So what I'm trying to say is, we in our company also we get feedback in different forms, responses in social media. And we are also very careful on responding to a lot of those, especially if you're not sure whether this is a right feedback coming or not. Because when a company or when an entity which has, let's say, 1 million followers responds, you actually amplify it to somebody who's got 10 followers. So the post would be put in by somebody with 10 followers with a certain motivated agenda. You respond, you are actually spreading it to 1 million people. So you should be very careful on how do you respond to some of these things and look at the intent and all of that,
Problem with the negative feedback. Generally, if you give the negative feedback, maybe the guy who is taking it, not forwarding up. So then it is getting blocked. It gets blocked. Because maybe the incentive alignment or whatever the reason is. And if you put somewhere else, maybe it is more quicker to spread, and maybe the concerned person get the informations and take the actions. Maybe the example of CEO, and there are many examples we know. If you put the negative feedback on the Facebook, you will get a quicker response than if you give the feedback to the company.
Yeah.
So just
So see, social media engines are working on it, human psychology. Look at the social media. Try, write something good and social media will not circulate it more. Write something bad. It will be circulated more because they know lot many people will get aligned to it. See, people want to just vent out.
is it okay whatever we are doing, or we are just running after the customers to get the feedback so that we can
No, I think
your intentions is good to improve
Mhm.
maybe your process outcome, the product, but overdoing part.
No, I think feedback is a continuous improvement. It's a tool to improve continuously, and it's a feedback from the real world, which is the user of your product. I don't want to get good feedback from my own employees saying our customers are happy. I want to hear the customer's voice, and I want to give them an opportunity to know what they think about us. What is their how much are they inclined to recommend my service to somebody else? How much are they enjoying my service? I would like to hear from the customers. So I think no, I don't. Feedback is here to stay. I don't think it's.
I don't think there's companies overdo it. I mean, because companies also know the limit, right? I mean, if you overdo it, it will backfire. That's for sure. But the problem is with the consumer. When I'm dealing with 100 companies, on a day-to-day basis, and I get all of this, for the consumer, it may look overwhelming. I don't think.
So I think this, it's not the question is, to me, reasonably customized. And in India, the way our personal data has been misused to the extent of it being monetized by different companies and stuff, it is pathetic, feminine. And I'm very bold to say this across. I think we need to give back as a consumer, to as a customer, as a consumer, as a receiver. I think the right has to be with the individual, whether you would like to participate in a feedback journey or not. This is a right. This has to be taken. Then only you can get a person into that journey. While this is from the receiver side, from an organization side, I think it kind of comes back to three things. What's your intent? How far do you want to go towards that? And what would you do with that as a feedback? I think it would again come back to this. But today, my closing point on this is going to be, please give powers back to the consumer's hand and let them choose their feedback journeys there.
See, in one word, I will say that the feedback process need to be smart again to get effective output from the process.
to me, I think there is nothing like underdoing, overdoing. See, these all are good to discuss. Go back last 7 days. How many feedbacks have you given? Just go back last 7 days. How many feedbacks have you given? And then you will realize, no, today industry is going adequate. If you are taking services, they are asking feedback. Where are the, see, we are just getting oversensitized. But you as an individual thing, in last 7 days, what feedbacks you have given? As he rightly said, organizations are asking rarely feedbacks. From customer, we are asking when services are. So today, in industry, it is going when something is given, feedbacks are asked. Otherwise, it is going in a very balanced way, not to worry about it, because we can just think, हमने कितने feedback दे दिए. Last 7 days, I bet 7 feedbacks भी नहीं गए होंगे without you taking service. So I think it is going well.